Hey there, old school gamers. Welcome back to our community for GM coaching and just playing and enjoying our favorite game, whatever version of it you like. Whether you like D&D in any of its editions, Pathfinder, Old School Essentials, whatever version you like, Castles and Crusades, any of the others. We are here to create content to help you GM and be the best GM that you can be. So today we are getting into NPC Rolodex entry number 2. So the other day we had NPC Rolodex entry number 1, Sir Dudley the Dastardly, and he served a particular function as to how a villain doesn't have to be more powerful than the party. The villain can just be scum. So be sure to check out Sir Dudley the Dastardly. Today's NPC Rolodex character number 2 is Lenoth, the Owl Familiar. So this is another type of NPC that I kind of serendipitously or accidentally discovered when I was a college kid back in my 20s. There was a particular young lady. She was an elven fighter mage. That's what we called them back then. I guess these days, if you were playing 5th edition, you'd be like an Eldritch Knight fighter or possibly a Blade Singer wizard, something like that. But she conjured a familiar. The familiar she wanted was an owl. She named the owl Lenoth. And what I found out I was doing, owls are supposed to be wise and everything, don't you know? And so she was totally new to D&D. She had never played D&D before she came to college and joined our table in the game shop's basement. And her character in universe would consult Lenoth, like ask him advice and stuff, because, you know, not only was her character young and naive, but in terms of D&D, Janine was young and naive. So thank you, Janine, if you're out there somewhere, for inspiring this NPC. But what I found that Lenoth did was Lenoth gave me a voice in the group to give advice as the DM without me just like doing it as the narrator over the screen, like the DM taking pity on the poor inexperienced players who just make bad choices and don't know any better, and just kind of cautioning them as the DM or GM, you know, you might not want to do this, or it might work better if you did it that way. I try to avoid that because I'd rather have the characters learn things in universe, and wise NPCs are a way for them to do that. Another thing about Lenoth is that one thing I was just suggesting, using this kind of NPC, there was another game master here in St. Louis, was talking to me about some of the things going on at his table here in St. Louis recently, and about some of the just idiot things some of his players were doing, and I was suggesting a way to provide guidance by putting an NPC in there that could help them. But the thing is, you want to make the NPC, like Lenoth the Familiar Owl, for example, an NPC that will always be dependent on the party, so that they don't take the spotlight away from the party. Because you wouldn't want to put like a full-fledged adventuring character in the party with class and levels, and because what'll happen is the party will be like with me, for example, my name's John, so they'll say, oh yeah, that's just John's favorite character. You know, John is playing and the DM. He just inserted his player character in there. Or this is the plot armor, indestructible NPC that can do no wrong. And then you'll have people criticizing your NPC and thinking you put the NPC in there for the wrong reasons. So if you have a guide NPC, a wise NPC that can help mentor the party, if you make them something like a familiar or a sidekick or some kind of weaker character that is going to be dependent on the party, then you can serve that function without taking the spotlight away from them, and still letting them be the main characters that they should be, because they're the players. So that's Lenoth the Owl. Not much to him. Don't have to explain quite as much as I did with Sir Dudley the Dastardly. So if you like Lenoth, just use him wholesale. Just rip him out of this video and use him for yourself. Or just take the idea. Maybe an owl familiar isn't the thing for you, but you kind of understand what I'm talking about with the idea of a wise mentor NPC that still isn't going to steal spotlight from the characters. This way, you, as the DM, when you have something you'd like to weigh in on, you don't have to either just not weigh in on it and go, well, they'll have to figure it out themselves, or you're just going to have to break the narrative flow of the universe and just stop the game and give them over-the-table advice. You could actually have it happen in universe with an NPC like Lenoth. So if you appreciate what we do on the channel, we recently launched a Patreon. I'll link it down below. It has GM coaching for as little as $5 a month. You can get GM coaching through Discord. There's also at higher tiers, you can get personal coaching from me or other grumpy GMs who work for me. Check that out below. Or there are tables open right now, or seats open at tables right now to game with us. So check that out as well. In the meantime, I will see you around the gaming table.